are wrestling. We are wrestling podcast.
They give a shout out to We Are Wrestling on YouTube.
You're watching We Are Wrestling.
Stop!
I'm the host with the most.
You are by far the least intelligent.
What's going on, everybody? Danny Huckins here, man. 1/3 of We Are Wrestling.
What's going on? We are Wrestling Maniacs Worldwide. Ben here, the third of the talk show.
We Are Wrestling Podcast.
Make sure to subscribe, baby.
We are wrestling.
What is up? We are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide. I'm the host with the most, Mr. We Are Wrestling, the best one, Donnie here with...
What is going on? We are Wrestling Maniacs Worldwide. It has been the second of We Are Wrestling Podcast. So yeah, we have a really, really great show for you guys today. It's been a pretty fucking swell day today on my channel specifically. Hit fucking 2K subscribers, dude. It's fucking lit, dude. I'm really, really excited about it. Yeah, this YouTube journey with We Are Wrestling, my personal channel, 2 Sticks and Pure Rage. It's just a fun time. It's a fun time to be a content creator right now, man. It's a really fun time.
You know it's not going to be a fun time when Danny appears on the episode later on in the podcast. But before we get into the topics for this week's episode of the podcast, if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you're not a part of the thousands of subscribers, we recommend you to hit that subscribe button now, turn on the post notifications, videos be coming out of nowhere like an RKO, and of course, you already know, the grind is real.
Yeah, buddy. Always.
Always. And by the time this episode of the podcast comes out, We Are Wrestling. We're going to be a vendor at the Wrestling Classic 3 event that's taking place the day that this comes out. And it's going to be our first time coming, which, how are you feeling before we, go into this? Final thoughts before we go into our first, convention.
I think it's really fucking cool that the Godfather tagged us in his post for the Wrestling Classic. Really, really cool of him. Like I said, a lot of people don't do that. There are a lot of people, not in a bad way, but like disregard, a lot of smaller vendors. So like the fact that he tagged us, and I think we were the first ones tagged on his post, was actually really fucking cool. Like that was a really cool thing to wake up to, and I'm really, really, really happy that I get to experience this. It's really peculiar still that this is even happening. I'm still unsure as to what the fuck's going on. I think it's kind of crazy that we're going to be chilling for like 2 hours with everybody there, It's just an odd experience, It's a very odd thing. But I'm excited. I'm excited. I hope Dan's on his best behavior.
I hope so too.
My God, I hope he doesn't have sauce on his face.
Just got to keep him away from the energy drinks, and I think he'll be okay.
Oh my God, I just hope he doesn't have a fucking spaz in the middle of it because, oh God. I don't know if I'd be able to bounce back from that, man. But honestly, I think it's really, really cool that this early on we get to do something like this. It's a gift. It's a really big thing that we should be, really celebrating. It's a really, it's kind of nerve-wracking if you think about it, but I'm stoked.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm very excited for this. Like, I've been to many, wrestling conventions. I've been to many wrestling shows. You've been to a lot of wrestling shows, but this is the first time ever that we're going to be vendors for a wrestling convention. So we're going to have our own table. We're going to actually be selling t-shirts, which I'm very excited about. We have some stickers we're going to be giving away. Some wrestling figures we're going to be giving away. Even some magnets for sale. Like, I feel like this journey, is only getting started, and it's incredible to see how far we've all come.
Yeah, man, it's absolutely fucking nuts,
especially with our own channels, too. You hitting 2,000 subscribers. Congratulations, brother.
Thanks, man. Like, it's... It's not a big deal to a lot of people because I know that there's plenty of fucking people that have way more than me, and that's completely fine. But it's not the goal that I'm stoked for. It's kind of the journey of it. It's kind of cool nurturing this thing that you kind of created and watching it grow. Even subtly, substantially some days. Just a few days ago, I had like maybe 100 people left until I hit 2K, and here we are, over 2K already. I checked it not too long ago, and it's, already going up still. I got to thank the band Sleep Token 100% because they've really opened the door to a lot of the audience I have right now because people, I'm even at the point now where something as small as being able to engage with people on the community posts is such a big deal to me because I made a fucking a poll the other day about what album should I do next because my full album reaction to Sleep Token's brand new album, Take Me Back to Eden, literally the greatest fucking album I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, no bullshit, it is the best music. You don't even have to be a metal fan.
He
to
listens
love
to
them.
a lot of music, so that's coming from somebody that has a lot of knowledge in this field.
My guy, they are going. I would not be surprised if they did a song for WWE eventually. Like, they are on that wavelength right now. It is fucking nuts, dude. But like I said, I really have to give them a shout out because they've made it so much possible. I made a poll, 100 plus people voted on it. Like, it was kind of fucking sweet, and it was just a no brainer.
I
dropped 2 reactions today.
YouTube.
Yeah, dude, I dropped 2.
It's just another way to interact with your fans.
It's fucking cool, man. And I dropped 2 reactions this morning. Both of them are already reaching about to be like 400 a piece right now, and that's already pretty big, for me. And I think it's really sweet. I think I'm finally starting to find my groove editing wise. I think the angles are right. I think that the quality increase was great. I'm able to run 60 FPS now. Everything's clear as fuck. I do everything on my computer now. I don't even use my Xbox anymore. I used to use it for my capture card and everything, and now I do everything on the PC. And it's such a great time right now. So I'm glad that we're kind of talking about our milestones and everything. So
yeah,
really
man,
cool.
I'm very happy for you. And this week in the wrestling world, we did have some pretty cool things that happened.
Yeah.
And we all had, on Friday Night SmackDown, we had the episode where Jay had to make a decision, and he ended up not making the decision, and then they had Paul Heyman, luring him into the bloodline by giving him a shot at the United States Championship. I also really liked how, he was trying to, lure him into it, and then you had Sami Zayn on the side telling him, you need to be with your brother Jimmy over this, because, of course, they have history. And then, the main event, they had, something happen where Jimmy, by accident, kicked Jay. So now it really, leaves the questions there because even Jay was telling Paul Heyman, it's me or you in the bloodline.
Yeah.
So Roman would have to make a decision, but now things could change because of what happened to Jimmy super kicking him.
Yeah, man. There's so many explosive moments right now in that one storyline. It really, really fucking popped off at Night of Champions when Jimmy finally snapped. And I love that we're already back on a simmer towards another angle. It's so good, and it's literally the juiciest fucking storyline in pro wrestling right now. Like, there's no argument there. It is the most compelling and the best storyline in a long time.
I agree, and even
especially
WWE
long-term.
TV, ever since the draft, I've been enjoying Monday Night Raw and SmackDown so much more now than Dynamite. And for the longest time, I've enjoyed AEW Dynamite over Raw and SmackDown. But now, the way that they're building these shows around things, I really like that. And I really hope they continue to do that. Because that whole episode of SmackDown revolving around Jay's decision was fantastic. Storytelling, fantastic booking decisions. And even, Austin Theory going, with the interview backstage, even saying he could potentially, if Paul Heyman's looking for a new client, I could be your guy. Because in case you didn't know, I just saw this post before we recorded this. Back in Evolve, where Austin Theory first started in his career, when he won the Evolve World Championship, Paul Heyman was actually the one to give him the title.
Really? Wow. That,
so down
yeah,
the line,
dude.
there's people that want Austin Theory to be the next Paul Heyman guy once the bloodline ends.
God knows when that's going to be, but honestly, I could definitely buy that 100%. That's definitely sellable.
But with the chaos in the wrestling world this week, what is your highlight of the week?
What we just talked about. I'm so invested in the bloodline story. Like, it just, especially anything Jay related. Like, there is just so much there that I feel like there's still yet to unpack in the story. You know, I feel like there's so much there that I feel like he is going to be a very crucial point into how this all ends. 100%. I feel like Jay is going to orchestrate some crazy shit from the inside. Like, I genuinely believe, and this is a hot take, that he's going to side with Roman. But in reality, it's a whole swerve. And it's going to be fucking nuts. And I think there's going to be a massive payoff. There's going to be a massive fucking pop. And like I said, there's potentially more to unpack here than more than meets the eye. So I think that there's a bigger picture being painted right now, which is why I'm so cool with it being as gradually built up as it is.
I got two highlights of the week. My first one has got to be on Monday Night Raw, because I also really liked how they're starting to make the Judgment Day the main part of Raw, which I really like how they're doing that. I think that they deserve to, be in that big, spotlight, that big role that they haven't been able to do because the Bloodline has been on both brands for the longest time. So now that the Bloodline storylines are on SmackDown permanently, the Judgment Day get to shine more on the Raw brand, which I really like. And honestly, I love that they're teasing Finn Balor leaving Judgment Day, because the whole, Damian Priest thing, he told, the Judgment Day not to come out during his match against Rollins for the world title. What did Finn Balor do? He came out, tried to help Priest, and ended up backfiring on him. And Priest, now doesn't trust Finn Balor. And Finn Balor now is going to be fighting Seth Rollins at Money in the Bank.
Now, and Priest is going to fuck that shit up. And then that's going to cause a whole thing of turmoil.
And I got to say, too, Dominic, oh, man, so I got to tell you something funny here. And I know my reactors, when I was doing my reaction, they got a kick out of this.
Okay.
Dominic, man, he right now is probably the best heel in wrestling, period. Even
he's
better,
on fire?
I think he is more on fire than MJF is when it comes
that is a very bold statement.
And it's gotten so bad,
very bold,
Ben, where my temperature has been at like 102 to 104 degrees when Dominic comes up on my TV screen. So I have this to help me. I got my little fan here because of all the heat he's getting.
That's fucking nuts, bro.
Yeah, but another thing that's got to be my highlight of the week as well, and this company doesn't really get talked about that much. TNA, Impact Wrestling, they had this event this last Friday, against all odds, and Motor City Machine Gun Alex Shelley beat Steve Macklin for the Impact World Championship.
Nice.
And in case you guys don't know, Alex Shelley, he's one half of this tag team with Chris Sabin. They're called the Motor City Machine Guns. One of the most, underrated, most popular, tag teams in Impact Wrestling history. Great team. Definitely, if you have the time, recommend you guys to go check them out. But for Alex Shelley, who's been in Impact Wrestling since, I believe, 2005, for him to, finally win the big one, such a great moment for him. And I think that, that promotion giving him, the brass ring, giving him the world championship, honestly, he deserves it. And I'm very happy for him. And Chris Sabin even, won the X Division championship, breaking the record for holding the title the most.
Fuck yeah. Hey man, anyone that's getting to eat and being able to reach their accolade finally and having it all finally come full circle and have it pay off is always a blessing. So I applaud anybody that has grinded that far and has succeeded.
And I always say this about Impact Wrestling. The product is so good. It's so underrated. But the problem is that people don't have access to Access TV. And it sucks. They have a pretty good roster. Like these pay-per-views, I hear nothing but positive things about all their pay-per-views that they have. And it just sucks that a lot of us don't have access to it.
I'm curious how massive the pay cut Naomi took. I'm genuinely curious.
Well, Anthem does run Impact, and I know Anthem does have money, so they're able to give out these contracts, but she definitely had to take a pay cut to go there.
Oh, for sure. 100%. There was no way around her not getting a pay cut, dude. I mean, it's WWE to Impact. That is a massive drop. I'm sorry, but it's true. Like, it is a massive fucking drop, man. So it's like almost NWA drop.
Ooh, I wouldn't compare Impact to NWA. At least they know how to run their promotion.
Damn.
They listen to their fans and stuff, which I think a few weeks ago we dived into the whole Billy Corgan and Tyrus thing. A lot of people got a kick out of the TikTok clip on that.
Facts.
But now, with that being said, let's dive into the topics for We Are Wrestling Podcast 61.
Fucking do it.
Our first topic for this week's episode of the podcast. We saw two WWE guys that have been chilling and catering since, the Thunderdome. Angel Garza and the other guy. What's his name?
Humberto Carrillo.
Well, they made their WWE return on NXT, trying to, take it over like the NWO. What's your thoughts on them, being back with the black and gold brand?
Good. At least they get some TV time. Kinda. At least they get some kind of exposure, and it mixes up things over at NXT. And like I said, it just feels like one of those things to bring in some more viewers for NXT, but also in turn helping them improve. So that's really all I can say about it, I really fucked with Humberto for a little bit until he got fucked up by Sheamus when they botched that move off the apron, and it just all of his body weight hit him right in the abdomen. And he threw up the X.
Yeah, I know when Paul Heyman was doing the creative for Raw at the time, he had big plans for that guy. And also Cedric Alexander. He was another guy that Heyman had big plans for. But then Vince McMahon decided to, take over. He didn't like the way Paul Heyman was running things. And the rest was history. I do like the pairing of him and Garza. I think that they both have pretty good chemistry. It's just WWE doesn't really know how to use them right now. And honestly, if they're under contract with WWE, might as well use them instead of having them in catering. And NXT, I think, is a good place for them to develop and just adds to their tag team division.
Yeah, man.
But here's the thing, though. This is something that I am noticing here about Triple H.
What are you noticing about Triple H?
I gotta give the man more credit than he gets, because instead of, doing these mass releases where he's releasing a bunch of people, he's at least trying to utilize them, and he's actually trying to use them instead of just throwing them in a big release.
No, for sure.
Because I thought Garza and this other guy, they would be released by now.
No, and I'm glad that they're not.
So it seems like WWE is kind of taking that AEW approach now with, letting them, work their contracts.
Yeah.
Which I feel like, certain people, I feel like if someone wants to leave, the company that you're working for, me personally, I would just let them go unless they're Roman Reigns or somebody that's that big, caliber. I don't know about you.
See, that's... And I'm glad that he's doing that, and he's flipping the script rather than.
Yep,
I thought I had to burp for a second there. All right. I think it's great that he's flipping the script rather than releasing them. I feel like, again, this is a good segue into what could be the next topic. Mason Mansoor. It's another thing, like we have Pretty Deadly now on fucking the main roster. So it's like you don't really need two teams that are glamorous, So I feel like it was a very smart move to utilize Maxine Dupree and putting her in Alpha Academy since she was already having an angle with Otis. And that's great. And I'm glad that they're able to do that. And I'm glad that Mason Mansoor are going to be repackaged because that gives them an opportunity to go different places and to maybe get involved somehow and actually have them do shit. Now it can just be looked at as a cringe segment rather than like a career ruiner, So I'm really stoked on it. That's another thing.
Yeah, so what Ben's talking about is, according to Fightful, Maximum Male Models, Mansoor, and Moss are set to get new gimmick changes within the next few weeks. And honestly, I am for this because, Triple H is trying to flip the script. You're right on that. And he's trying to, try different things with a lot of these guys. Like, I know he's been trying different things with Mustafa Ali, and it's paying off. Mansoor and Mace are going to get a new opportunity. Well, I meant Moss. And, even Moss. Garza and, Carrito, that's why I keep
Carrillo,
saying him.
Carrito.
Yeah, so
You're
that's
as
why
white
I
as it
keep
gets,
saying
my guy.
him. Well, these two guys, yeah. So I like how they're like trying to give them an opportunity, but I don't know. I feel like when you do so many different gimmick changes, eventually, it's like, what else can you do with them? And like, sometimes you need.
I'm trying so hard to hold it together. I'm sorry.
Name one more time so I could try to pronounce it right.
Humberto Carrillo.
So Humberto.
Just say Carrillo. Just say Carrillo.
Carrillo.
Carrillo. Yeah, just say Carrillo for his last name. You don't even have to say. You don't have to say Humberto. Crayola. It's Carrillo, bro. Oh my God, not the Crayola.
Humberto.
Don't say Humberto. Just say Carrillo.
Carrillo.
There you go.
It's fucking that. I don't like the way
Humberto.
it sounds.
Just say Humberto.
Humberto.
There you go. That's better. Rolls right off the tongue. There you go. Humberto. Humberto.
Hum and Garza. So yeah. So I don't know. I feel like eventually, when you have guys and like you continue to repackage them, I feel like there is only so much you can really do with them, and I feel like, in a sense, like, it is a waste to keep them, but at the same time, like, you should, keep somebody until their contract expires.
You know who I feel like should arguably be in NXT right now, if we're really talking about flipping the scripts on people and really, like, revitalizing? Put fucking Shelton Benjamin on there, dude. Put Shelton Benjamin on fucking NXT. Let him at least get in the fucking ring. Let him at least bring in some viewers, because that dude is so fucking criminally underrated. It is ridiculous. That dude he has had some of the biggest oh my God moments in the fucking Ruthless Aggression era that I can count. Like, that dude has done some crazy shit. One of the best Intercontinental champions we've ever had. And you are just letting him sit in catering, dude. Put him on fucking NXT. Maybe I'd watch it. Like, 100%. Put him in NXT. And, like, having
a legend, like, to his caliber, like, especially right now with Gunter's, title run, like, about to beat the Honky Tonk Man, like, you can have a whole program building Gunter versus Shelton Benjamin because he was one of the best IC champions.
Bro, I hate you because that is so fucking brilliant. Like, I hate you because I didn't fucking put that out there first. Like, that would be a fantastic... That would have been the most fantastic way to revitalize Shelton Benjamin's career, because you can use that. That dude was a fucking powerhouse Intercontinental champion. So for the fact that you could literally take this guy, have him take Gunther and make him have like an open challenge.
Put the Triple H guys over.
Yes,
that's all he has to do. But don't have him get squashed in 2 minutes.
No, like, make it a long-standing feud. Like, make it a feud. Like, make it worth something. Like, even if Shelton doesn't win, give it a 3-match series where this dude is just hungry for it again. Even if it's his final run, dude. Even if it was Shelton finally retiring and they gave him that fucking feud, give it maybe a month to 2 month fucking feud, it would be beautiful because obviously Shelton can still go. So let him
and that's the big thing about it, like,
and over the Intercontinental title, that would be
and
the
like
beauty.
we saw what they did on Raw. They did a random battle royal. Ali won. You could have done something like that and had Shelton win, and then you can have video
Build around
packages
it.
showing what he did in the Ruthless Aggression era with Team Angle, and some of his
The gold
crazy
standard.
matches that he had with like Shawn Michaels and Triple H. And even the gold
His
standard
money
stuff.
his Money in the Bank ladder match fucking spots, dude. Like that is ridiculous.
And
like,
you could build him as a legitimate number one contender, and you would have people invested because of the history behind Shelton Benjamin's career.
Yes, and it would push his singles run too on top of it. So I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you are crazy for not picking this up. Crazy
And this is
for it.
why you need to tune into the We Are Wrestling podcast, all the listeners, all the watchers, because we're praising guys right now that have been chilling in catering for a long freaking time. And
Legends,
Shelton
too,
Benjamin,
on top of it.
we just gave WWE like a great storyline. We just gave them
100,000%.
like pretty much like the golden ticket to the Willy Wonka factory.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
100,000%, dude. Like, I would love that. And it would make, not only Shelton relevant again, and to really put juice back into his career and give him some screen time and out of fucking catering, but it would also put Gunther massively over, because it's not like Shelton's a small guy by any means. The dude is beefed the fuck up. The dude can do crazy shit in the ring still. Give him the storyline, especially since he was holding it for so fucking long in the Ruthless Aggression era, and he was a great heel, but he is also a decent babyface.
I'm just saying, Gunther is about to beat Honky Tonk Man's record, I believe, September 8th. I could be wrong on that date, but it's sometime in September.
Yeah.
They could do something with Shelton because he had such a long title run too with that title.
Yeah.
And I can't believe I just said that, because now I'm kind of pissed off that Shelton Benjamin's doing nothing. Like, I just pissed myself off. I was having a great day, and I just pissed myself off.
I'm sorry, man. I had to bring up somebody who really deserves a fucking opportunity right now, and that is definitely Shelton.
An opportunity. Same thing with his partner, Cedric Alexander, another talented guy.
Yeah, we can go on and on, man.
We can. But I do think, Garza and Hum being in NXT, that's a great move. And also, the Maximum Male Models, I think them, getting repackaged is a good thing. I think if Vince McMahon was running creative, because I know you and I, on one of the older episodes of the podcast, we both actually liked the Maximum Male Models. And we even said that they had the potential of being tag team championships, holding the titles.
I don't know what the fuck I was on at the time when I said that, but I don't know why the fuck I said that, because I don't believe that.
Yeah, looking back now, I don't either, but...
Was I fucking hammered?
I think Vince McMahon, creatively, definitely could have done something bigger for that group, but here's the thing, when it comes to the ones running creative, every promotion, they have their certain guys, and Triple H just can't do anything with the Maximum Male Models. That's not his vision. That was Vince McMahon's vision. And that's why it didn't work out.
Which says so many things about Vince McMahon. Says so many things about Vince McMahon.
Very true.
I mean, if you rock with it, you rock with it. But I don't know how that is going to help your, TV programming go up, especially for your ratings. But, teach their own.
Yeah, but then they could have been like obnoxious heels, like Pretty Deadly is right now. And they could have gotten over eventually.
I can't stand fucking Pretty Deadly, but that's a discussion.
Oh, I love the arrogance of them. I
like the arrogance,
right
but just I don't know.
Old school, man. That's what I like about them. They just have a lot of like old school to them, and it's like different, which I like.
Facts.
But yeah, moving on now to another WWE topic. We saw on, TV last week and, this past week, WWE has been, giving out new title designs, and the women finally don't have to wear opposite colors, which is something I've been, talking about a lot on the podcast, and all my reactions whenever I see them. I'm always like, When are we going to get new title designs? Well, we got new title designs. Asuka pretty much has the WWE title in a white strap, and Rhea Ripley has the World Heavyweight title in a white strap. How do you feel about the new title designs for the women?
Cool. It's the same thing as both the men's titles, just white. I mean, it's cool. They got different designs, I guess, and we're in a new era of WWE and like kind of shaking things up. I think that's fucking swell. I think it's really cool that the women are really getting more utilized and recognized. Now we're just waiting on the tag team titles, but at the same time, cool. You did the same thing. You basically copy and pasted what you did for the men's titles, just put it in a white strap. Like, what kind of fucking work was that? Like, were we gonna be fucking wowed by it? It's like, here's the same thing, but it comes in white.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Ah.
If you want my opinion, that is genuinely what I'm giving you right now, and I'm submitting that. That is my final thoughts. Cool? It's white.
Ta-da! Honestly, like
pop.
I'll give my thoughts on the straps.
Like, what
and
the
mine's
fuck
gonna
were
be
they
short
thinking?
and sweet. Mine's gonna be short and sweet. Meh.
Lazy as fuck. Is what it was.
Lazy. Like, they pretty much just gave us the championships in a white strap. That's literally it. I will
That's literally
say,
it.
anything is better than that ugly title Roman's carrying right now. The white actually does look somewhat better than that friggin' like the dark black with like the freaking mustard gold on it. You do got to admit that. At least the white strap does look a little bit better than that friggin' ugly piece of shit.
I hate you so fucking much right now.
Yeah, and the World Heavyweight Championship, I just don't get it. Like, back in the day, like, the Women's World Championships, they always looked different. They always looked better. Like, even the Ruthless Aggression women's title looked way better than pretty much, like, these copy and paste WWE titles.
Yeah.
And I feel like every World Championship should have its own design to it, because
No, for
you
sure.
want it to stand out. Like, there's a reason why I love the AEW World Heavyweight Championship design so much. It
That thing's
stands
gotta be
out.
fucking heavy.
And even the AEW Women's World Championship, even though before they had a little title, it looked like a kid's belt, but now they actually have a Women's World title that actually looks different.
And prestigious.
Looks prestigious. And that's the thing that's missing with the WWE Women's World Championship and the WWE
I feel like
Women's
it's such...
Championship.
I feel like the whole fucking thing was so... I feel like the most exciting title that got revealed was the World Heavyweight Championship. And then they were like, all right, let's just do the same fucking thing for the women. I'm like, dude, come on. Like, make the women feel unique, too. Like, give them a fucking dope-ass design of their own for each title. Like, same thing with the fucking Universal Heavyweight Championship. Does Roman carry both titles now still, or does he only have that one now?
I think it's just that one.
Thank fucking Christ, I'm sick of the dual belt shit, so I'm glad that that's getting swept
Now
under
we
the
need to
rug
get new
finally.
tag team title designs, but let's get rid of the Spartan logo.
Yeah, I'm kind of over that. It's been that way for years, for like 10 years now, but they just changed the colors from fucking bronze to silver, and then the straps are fucking red and blue now.
Yeah.
Just do the
pretty
same
much.
fucking thing. If you're a tag team champion, just float fucking brands. Like, the fucking women are doing it.
Yeah, which, like, even the women tag team title designs are pretty nice, too. And, like, the Intercontinental and the U.S. title designs are nice, too. Because
The
they're
women need
different.
one more title.
They have
They
their
need a-
own prestige to it,
Yeah, the
which I
women need
like.
the women need a mid-card title.
They really do. I
They
think
need
that
like a
they can
USA
strive
title, or like
to
a
do that.
fucking like a USA title, or like a fight title, since it's a UFC Endeavor brand now. So I feel like it should be like a fight title, or like a gladiator championship or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and see. I'm not a fan really of the new straps.
I'm not.
But
a fan of the
I
straps
do
either.
still, out of the 4 titles though that have been revealed,
Even the men's are
I
garbage.
still do love the men's world heavyweight title. That's probably
I
my
do
favorite.
too, but I love it, but I hate that there's just a fucking gigantic corporate W just chilling in the middle. Like, I feel like that just ruins the whole fucking
I kind of
design.
like it. It's just it it still has like the brand of it.
What-
Like AEW has like the
what-
big AEW logo on it. You
What
have
I
to
hate-
the world title.
What I hate about the World Heavyweight Championship, though, is the fact that it's called the World Heavyweight Championship, but it's literally the smallest fucking belt there is. Like, do you realize how tiny that fucking thing is? It looks like a fucking Band-Aid compared to the U.S. title. Like,
Yeah,
it should,
that
if it's a
is true.
heavyweight title, make it fucking big, make it bulky. That is why I agree with you when I say the most beautiful championship on television right now is the AEW World Championship. That thing looks like $1 million fucking dollars. Like, that thing is top notch, beautifully designed. That looks better than fucking Big Gold ever did. So
And there's
the
a reason
fact that,
why, like, I know a lot of people didn't like the spinner title, but that's the reason why I love the spinner title, because it was so different. It was so unique. Even though, yes, it was a W that was spinning, but it still had that prestige. It was different. It was unique. And that's the thing I really like about championships. You can design them any way you want. You can customize them any way you want.
man,
And for me, I love the unique looking championships the most.
I hope that eventually the WWE goes back to that and allows their superstars to customize their belts. Like, that's what made it so fucking cool. Like,
Even the
it just-
hardcore championship, I used to love that piece of shit.
and that
title.
shit was fucking literally covered in duct tape and like spray paint and everything. Like, it was just fucking a piece of shit, just roll up in one, but it was prestigious as
the
fuck.
Winged Eagle. That was such a beautiful title.
Oh, Jesus Christ, don't get me fucking started with Bret Hart's fucking rant.
Oh, don't worry. We got a rant from a legend in our main event topic. But
Yep.
unfortunately, up next, we're going to have to be with Danny Huckins to talk about Hook. And we have another AEW topic we're going to be covering and the comments of the week. So we'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling 61. Are you looking for wrestling content? Well, We Are Wrestling provides everything pro wrestling. The best one, Donnie, Danny Huckins, and the Load Rager Ben are wrestling marks like you who love this sport. We Are Wrestling has it all when it comes to wrestling content. We have different podcasts, vlogs, reactions, full wrestling matches, live pay-per-view watch-alongs, interviews, predictions, and so much more. Only on We Are Wrestling. What are you waiting for? Subscribe and become a We Are Wrestling Maniac now.
What is going on, guys? It's Ben here, the Lone Rager, and you guys are watching We Are Wrestling Podcast.
We're back with more We Are Wrestling 61, and Danny had a few minutes to hop in. You want to say what's up to the We Are Wrestling Maniacs?
What's going on, everybody, man? Glad to be here on this platform that I'm very unfamiliar with, man. Who the fuck are these assholes?
Yeah,
That's
so
a
in
couple
case you
guys.
guys, in case you guys don't know, with the We Are Wrestling podcast, we normally switch weeks with Danny and Ben because of all of our schedules, but Danny did have a few minutes and he wanted to talk about this topic in particular. And our next topic for this week's episode of the podcast, WWE is interested in AEW superstar Hook. Triple H and Shawn Michaels are very interested in him joining. And Taz seems like he would be on board with his son, you know, getting more exposure with being a part of WWE. So now the question is, should WWE sign Hook?
Should he sign Hook? Possibly, maybe. I'll even go as far as maybe saying yes. Do I think Hook should sign with WWE? No. Hook he's not really. He's just getting over with the audience, the AEW audience. Send Hook is fucking nationwide pretty much. But with his lack of television time that he even gets on Dynamite, I don't see WWE really putting a lot of money into pushing him on WWE TV when they have a lot of talent that barely gets showcased. Maximum Male Models, Los Lotharios, Baron Corbin even. Like, all these guys are starting to transition over to NXT now because they want to make NXT into a third brand. So I don't really necessarily think it'd be a smart business decision on Hook's part to go to WWE, a place that has a lot of talent, but a lot of talent, they like to push a few guys. So
See, that's where I'm actually going to chime in and disagree with you, to agree to disagree. So, I think it's brilliant. I think it would be huge for WWE to capitalize on hiring Hook. Obviously, Taz is a legend. He definitely had a good tenure there while he was. I could actually see a couple angles with Hook involved. I can see him teaming with Matt Riddle for some kind of angle for a tag team run. I can see him getting the U.S. title eventually. Like I said, he comes from a very promising father. So, and he's got he got to really train himself and really get himself over in AEW. So, it'd just be kind of extending the brand. And then, with WWE, it's worldwide audience. So I feel like it would be nonsense not to hire this dude. And he's young as hell, so he can go for a while.
You also have
years
to,
old.
you also have to look at this. And Donnie, I apologize for, kicking, over talking you.
Better be apologizing to me.
Oh, I'll apologize.
You're the guest
every
on
day.
this week's episode, motherfucker.
Yes, I am a guest with very limited amount of time this evening, unfortunately. But you got to look at it from this point. You got to look at it from this point too. Hook and being in AEW, he's able to be there with his dad. Taz is, I'm sure, very hands-on with his son. Helps him out a lot. Because Taz's been in the business a long time, bro. He's seen a lot of stuff that he probably doesn't want his son to see. So I don't necessarily see Taz wanting his son to go somewhere else to where he won't really be able to be too involved. You know what I mean?
Wait, so you're saying that Taz just wants to continuously baby his child who's already fucking taking on the likes of Big Cass XL?
No, but what I'm saying is there's a lot of shady shit that happens in the pro wrestling business, man.
No, for sure. But the thing is, though, when you get in this business, you gotta be ready for it.
It ain't as shady as it used to be, man. Go watch Dark Side of the Ring.
Vince isn't in complete charge anymore, so it can't be too shady.
I just don't want him. I just don't want them to, sign him and then not
real quick
push
though.
him.
What makes you think Taz isn't going to join WWE with his son? What's he doing in AEW right now?
The only thing I can see that Taz doing is commentating. But
Better than Kevin Patrick.
Unless they I could see this. Them taking Booker T off of SmackDown, putting Booker T on Raw, taking out Kevin Patrick, and then putting Taz with Michael Cole again like the old times.
Wait,
I could see.
I thought Booker T's on NXT.
Booker T's on SmackDown.
Oh, damn, dude. I am not paying attention at all to these commentators. Damn. But my thoughts on Hook joining WWE potentially, I have to go with Ben on this one. I think that WWE, they should definitely go after Hook. One, he's only 24 years old, very young, very over with the AEW crowd. Yep. And I think that, with his age, you definitely can sign him. Because there are some things that Hook can work on. I think we all can agree on that. There's little things that he could do to be a better wrestler. I think that he's definitely good for a rookie. But I think that there's still a lot of work he needs to do when it comes to promos, when it comes to character work. And I think NXT would be a perfect place for him to develop.
See, I feel like that would be good too. But I also see Hook just kind of being great on his own, even without a mouthpiece. Like, he's one of the only people to really not need one and still succeed.
No, but that's what I agree with. But I think him going to WWE and starting off in NXT, he can get comfortable on the microphone. He can get comfortable with the things that AEW is not letting him do. Because let's be real here. One thing I can't stand is how AEW is booking Hook. He's doing a freaking tag team right now with fucking Jungle Boy.
And he's the FTW champion still,
the FTW champion that really doesn't matter. The 24/7 title was defended more than that championship.
The FTW championship is not considered by AEW to be a legitimate championship.
So why the fuck is this kid just carrying it around then?
Because Taz held the FTW title pretty much. The title is not considered to be a title.
That's fucking
in AEW.
stupid. That's fucking stupid.
I like the tag team with Jungle Boy and Hook though.
I don't like it.
Is it called like Jungle Hook or something like that?
I fucking love it, bro.
I love it, bro. Disney movie.
I love it, man. But the thing is, here's
no. Here's the thing now.
Oh shit.
When it comes to Hook, the way they first brought him into AEW was fantastic. Team Taz was a perfect place for him, to get his foot in, the business. Then, Team Taz disbands. Ricky Starks goes on his own. Powerhouse Hobbs now is doing freaking Book of Hobbs or whatever. And with Hook,
Was
they had something going. They were doing this undefeated streak thing on Rampage. He was one of the key guys on Rampage, and he was getting in ratings on, the B show. And ever since they stopped, pushing Hook as a singles wrestler, where's the ratings at with Rampage? They're lucky to
right.
300K.
Rampage is almost like the velocity of AEW or the Sunday Night Heat of AEW.
Well,
it
it
would
used
go
to be
that
like a
far.
Saturday night main event.
Oh shit.
Something like that. But the thing is, here's where I stand with Hook, okay? I don't think everybody that goes to WWE automatically needs to go to NXT before they go to the main roster.
Yeah, I think he would be able to fit on the main roster.
I feel like there's a lot of
I only say it because of his microphone skills, and I know in WWE, like, you need to have.
I mean,
like, promo
they
skills.
pushed
Unless they give
Omos.
him a mouthpiece, then
they pushed
you have him.
Omos, they
Yeah.
push Asuka, they push Io Sky. I mean, they're not exactly the best talkers, you know what I mean?
Especially with
that
Asuka.
that is absolutely true, but I just think because of his age, there's going to be some things that Triple H, Shawn
That's almost
Michaels,
like-
and probably his dad are going to want him to, get better at.
Yeah,
And in
for sure.
NXT, especially if they're considering it a third brand, why not, bring him to NXT? Because with Rampage, he did actually draw ratings to that show. And NXT right now, what are they lacking? The ratings.
They're
Hook
lacking
will
everything.
bring people to NXT. I know if he's on NXT, I'm watching it.
NXT is almost worse than Rampage. They're both
Bro.
they're both horrendous.
Bro.
But NXT is fucking god
Try
awful.
to keep it respectful because Shawn Michaels runs that show, all right? That is the one thing I'm holding on to. Try to keep it respectful, bro. Keep it clean.
NXT.
Yeah, but they do have upside, though. Like, I know the show itself isn't as good as it once was, but come on now. You would be lying if you said that there's no talent in NXT.
Oh, shit.
Carmelo Hayes, Braun Breaker, like there is talent there. But it's almost like watching a children's Saturday morning cartoon there.
As much as I don't want it, I feel like one person that could thrive on being on NXT and NXT would thrive from his presence would be Karrion Kross.
Yes.
I feel like bringing a darker, bigger, more, adult-oriented being back to the show, especially somebody that's like a heavyweight around his fucking size. I feel like that would be a good move, as much as I don't want it.
No, but
My
back to like
goodness.
the Hook thing, I just feel like AEW is just misusing him. And honestly, and everybody knows this, I am more of an AEW fan than I am a WWE fan. And
Yep.
even I can say it. Hook is being misused in AEW. Tony Khan has no idea what to do with the guy. I think that he is better off in WWE, where there's people like Triple H, people like Shawn Michaels, who will actually
Jesus.
know how to utilize him.
Say it with your chest, Queen. Fuck. Jesus Lord.
Like I said, man, I like
They
I like Jungle Hook, man. I like them as a tag team. I want to see where they can go. I want to.
Jungle Boy was in a tag team with Luchasaurus already.
Okay.
Why does he need to be in a tag team with Hook?
Because I don't know if you're forgetting this, but they
Doesn't
have
WWE lack legitimate
Yep.
tag teams?
yes.
So you're okay with them just putting two random people together with
On
no
my own,
backstory?
like Tarzan boy.
That's what every tag team in WWE is.
So why does AEW need to do that? They have legitimate tag
Because
teams.
WWE also has more television time between the network and between their other shows or whatever to where they can showcase people. You want Hook and Jungle Boy on TV, right?
I just
Why
gotta
not
say
pair them
this,
together?
It's a little off topic, but Ben, we might
What?
get copywritten for that cover you did of Jungle Boy's theme song. That was
No, it
on
wouldn't.
point.
It was on point, but it's not going to get copywritten. As long as you guys were talking and I kept the spaces in between and talked very low like I was, we good. So, no copyright.
good,
Found a
man.
loophole, bitch. Continue.
But yeah. So Hook going to WWE, would it work? Could it work? It could work.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't necessarily know if he's quite ready. And by that I mean like obviously the schedule for WWE is a lot more intense than AEW. You know
Especially
what
now
I
that
mean?
they're touring again.
Exactly. So, he's been in one set audience, which is, obviously WWE's bigger than AEW. I'm not going to, sit here and, be a WWE hater and not.
Let's address the elephant in the room.
Let's address the fucking elephant, man. The elephant's going to sit on me and break my ribs.
Right there. That elephant. That elephant.
I feel like Hook could still use a couple more years in AEW. To learn some things. I don't necessarily know if
but
I
can
would
learn some things in NXT.
He's that's the thing, bro. He's better than everybody on NXT in my personal
Donnie,
opinion.
don't get him-
Outside of
don't
maybe
get him
one or
riled
two
up.
people.
It's okay. We only got a couple more minutes of him.
Don't get him. Don't get him.
I love that
riled
he's the
up.
guest here.
I gotta say as much shit as I gotta go because I gotta go in like 2 minutes.
Because you gotta take a shit. Say it with your chest, bitch. It's been lovely having you on the podcast today, Dan.
Yeah,
it has,
lovely.
man. I appreciate what you done. I like what you done to the place, man. I like the wallpaper and shit. It's very nice in this little bubble that is We Are Wrestling. By the time you guys see this, man, the Wrestling Classic is happening in Springfield, Mass. So make sure you guys come down if you guys are in the area. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here, man. Appreciate you guys having me.
Yep, you just made Ben leave, so that's okay. It looks like it's just me now on the podcast. Womp womp womp.
Y'all ain't peeping my dirty laundry.
Well, we'll see you, Danny.
Take it easy, brother.
Later, man.
That bitch ass motherfucker.
Seriously, man. I enjoy doing the podcast more with you than I do with him.
Yeah, because he talked too much.
Yeah, so with Hook, WWE being interested in him, like what do you actually think?
I think it'd be a phenomenal move. Like, I wasn't joking, 100%. Like, I think it would be a phenomenal move. I feel like no matter where they put him in WWE, I feel like he could thrive. Like I said, he is one of the only people that doesn't really need a mouthpiece, even though he doesn't really say much because he really doesn't need to. I think
Sometimes
just because
less
of
is
who
more
his
on the mic.
For sure. Especially with if you can pull it off too, and Hook doesn't necessarily look like an approachable guy, and he seems like he's already kind of like introverted, so it would make sense for him to say very little. So I feel like it would have like a bigger reaction if he said very little, because if you were to start talking, people would obviously be paying attention because this man says absolutely nothing. So I mean, right there you already have a persona, and he's killing it already in AEW. Just because of who his dad is, I feel like the locker room would be a lot more, open to teaching him, and would be open to, accepting him in their open arms.
He's not in there with the Sharks.
No, he's not. He's in there with family.
Be there, and he would actually develop.
For sure, and he doesn't. Like I said, no matter where they stick him in WWE, if he were to go, he could thrive anywhere, 100%. I firmly believe that. I feel like he could have a lot of 5 stars for sure. I feel like I could see him eventually in an angle with Cody. I could see him in angles with the likes of fucking Matt Riddle. I could see him in tussles with like Damian Priest, fucking guys like that. Finn Balor, I could see him tussling with. I feel like he could make a name for himself in WWE. I feel like he would really not get lost in the shuffle, especially with how he has gotten himself over in AEW. I think it'd be a brilliant move, 100%.
So there's one more thing I do want to add before we move on to our next topic on this week's episode of the podcast. And I've talked about this, I'm sure, on previous episodes of the podcast. The Cody Rhodes effect. It's happening because if you didn't know, Hook actually did get trained by Cody Rhodes at the Nightmare Factory before joining AEW. And if you're noticing, there's an effect going on, a domino effect. These Cody Rhodes guys, they are all going to eventually be going to WWE, I think, realistically.
I could see it. Like I said, I could see MJF showing up eventually, after his miraculous reign is over, and unfortunately he'll likely get thrown underneath the shuffle again. AEW's locker room is just way too large, I'll say it, I'll address that elephant too. It's just way too large. And I think that has a lot
to do with my issue with Hook. They're misusing him. Like, the way that they had him first be presented in AEW was fantastic. They had him, doing these matches on Rampage, which when he was on Rampage, they were averaging about 500,000 to 1 million viewers a week. Now they're lucky to even hit 300,000. But then here's where Hook's career went downhill. And I know you don't really watch AEW, so like I'll give you like a little bit of a history lesson here.
Yeah.
Here's what ruined his run in AEW. They paired him up in a random tag team with Danhausen.
I see. I love
Danhausen, but I don't like the pair. I didn't like how he went from being so serious. You had this serious build with him, and then you try to do a comedy thing with Danhausen when it was unnecessary.
Oh, you're talking about, you're like referring specifically to Hook?
Yeah, like I love Danhausen. I love Hook as individuals, but I didn't like when they made the decision to pair them up just randomly for like, I think like it was like a one-off like pay-per-view.
See, yeah, and didn't Danhausen get injured?
This time, I think yes, he actually did get injured around that time. But then like towards his second injury with AEW, he's been teaming with Orange Cassidy, which I actually do kind of like the chemistry that they both have.
Really? Okay.
But with Hook, I feel like it lost that momentum. It lost that seriousness to it. And then, you know, they give him the FTW title. I was at that AEW when, you know, Powerhouse Hobbs turned on Ricky Starks.
Yeah.
And Hook, you know, accepted his challenge for the title. And like I had very high expectations for Hook, and then they randomly paired him up with Jungle Boy and did the whole Jungle Hook thing. And I feel like Hook is just, you know, one of those like guys that is just better off as a singles wrestler. And I think in WWE where like the looks, the character matters, Hook is going to strive in WWE because he has that look.
Hey, that could very much so be the case, man. You never know. Like I said, I'm into it no matter what they do. If they decided to grab him and Hook was open to negotiations and everything, and you know the money was right, the creative was right, I feel like he could really make it. You know, I feel like, you know, he's established himself enough in AEW to make that choice to jump ship and, you know, really expand on who Hook is. And I don't know if he'll show up as Hook, because I feel like that's going to be an AEW thing, and WWE would probably more than likely try to trademark it, which is unfortunate because Hook is who he is. Like, that's literally, I can't see him as any other gimmick. I can't see him with any other name unless it was just as fucking catchy. Like, Hook is just, like...
I don't know, because one thing in AEW that, you know, we do know is that these wrestlers have more creative freedom. They
do.
have their trademarks. They have their rights.
And
I think Hook will come to WWE as Hook because the crowd was very invested in him. And I think Triple H and Shawn Michaels, they see that. And I think that's why these reports are coming out, because the man's only 24 years old.
Yeah, dude. And that's another thing. He can go. You know, he's got longevity. The dude's in fucking miraculous shape for fucking 24 years old, dude.
He was carrying Rampage.
He is, and like I said, you know, earlier when Dan was still in the room, you know, I was saying that, you know, he's going against the likes of fucking guys like Big Cass XL, you know, like fucking Morrissey. You know, he's fucking, dude is literally, and he's selling it too. Like, it's believable. So it's not like he's somebody that's unknown or really needs a lot of shaping. The dude can take bumps. The dude can fucking sell. You know, it's just really, like, you know, we've discussed, it's really just his mic skills, his promo work. And again, he doesn't really need a lot of that unless there was, like, you know, a time where it was needed. Like if he was, for example, miraculously put in the fucking headline position, you know, and he was put into the world title picture. That's when you would want Hook to really speak, you know, because that's where, all right, you went this long without giving your side, without really, you know, saying anything. Now you got a lot to say because you've been watching everything going on, and that would be such an awesome way to capitalize on a world title win eventually.
And that's the thing, like, my last thing I do want to say about, you know, Hook to WWE.
Yeah.
Danny's got to understand that we're going to be seeing a lot of pro wrestlers transition. WWE guys are going to be going to AEW. AEW guys are going to be going to WWE. And a lot of it has to do with Cody making the jump. A lot of it has to do with William Regal making the jump, because a lot of people forget that William Regal left AEW and now he is behind
He'll
the
be
scenes
back
in
on
WWE.
TV, and he'll be back on TV in 2024. His contract officially runs out with AEW then, and he'll be able to finally appear on television, which will be a massive game changer for WWE, because we're missing William Regal. You realize that if he was able to go on TV, the ratings would be way higher than they already are. Like, that's fucking nuts.
And I think with the brand split, I feel like if William Regal does come back eventually, like,
GM.
we're going to see him as a GM, and then Adam Pearce will be on the other side.
Get him as the GM for fucking Raw, and then get Adam Pearce SmackDown, because Adam Pearce is doing just fine. 100%.
He is.
He's
I got to
doing
say,
fine.
under Triple H, man, I've been super impressed.
I'm so fucking glad
booking.
because, dude, I think I'm the only person that really believed in Adam Pearce on this channel fully.
I'm with you, man. I believe in him now. I think Triple H has done a fantastic job with him.
Yeah, Dan talks hella fucking shit half the time, but honestly, dude, I fucking love Adam Pearce. Like, the dude is just, he's a go-getter, you know, he gets done what's given to him. He doesn't take shit. He's thankful for every fucking day in WWE. Like, if he were released somehow tomorrow, I would honestly feel like shit.
But here's
100%.
what I got to say, man, about William Regal. Like, he's backstage. He's in Triple H's ear. And if you think that, you know, William Regal, he sees talent from a mile away, and I can guarantee you, William Regal, he knows which stars in AEW are not happy with their creative roles. And I'm pretty sure, like, he sees potential in Hook. He sees potential in, like, a Wardlow. And I think that, you know, Triple H and Shawn Michaels, they're really paying attention. And I think Hook, I will not be surprised if this man does jump ship.
Yeah, William Regal jumping ship, man. Like, that was quick. It was like, what, a little bit less than a year he was there, and he already jumped ship back to WWE.
Yeah, which, for me, I was very surprised because
a lot of it was locker room shit.
It was locker room shit. A lot of it was behind the scenes. But with William Regal, it was just mostly, like, I was shocked because, like, the way he was being booked with Blackpool Combat Club was so good. I loved him as, like, a manager. So I was very surprised on all the, you know, behind-the-scenes stuff, but I'm not surprised at the same time.
You know, like I said,
he's so talented, man. He deserves to be
criminal.
Better.
It'd be criminal, man. Like I said, it'd be really criminal to not want to sign Hook, and I feel
criminal
like
that he's working with Jungle Boy in a tag team called Jungle Hook
when he could be having some crazy fucking matches with guys like Matt Riddle. Like, Matt Riddle would make him look like a fucking star because they're roughly in the same weight area. Same kind of style, very technical. Matt Riddle would unfortunately whoop his ass in real life, but at the same time, they would just pair really well. So even if, you know, you give me a Matt Riddle versus Hook, or you give me a Matt Riddle and Hook, like, dude, I would rock it either fucking way. I feel like he could just thrive there. For whatever reason, I just have a good feeling about Hook, and that's all I'm going to say. He's young.
He's got a lot of potential. He was on, you know, Rampage, which, you know, wasn't really that popular, but when he was on there, he was
viewership
ratings.
rose.
He was putting asses in seats during that show, and if, you know, NXT, there's one thing that we know is they're lacking ratings.
That was 100% like a smart move on Tony Khan's behalf, was getting Hook to go to Rampage, because it's like, all right, this kid's got some charisma. A lot of people are really fucking.
And they were only having him wrestle
on
Rampage, which is what made Rampage must watch.
Yeah, dude, and like, I feel like Rampage should have been the main show with everybody on it because it just sounds cooler than fucking Dynamite. Sorry.
And the last thing I'm going to say before we move on to our next topic, Danny knows the truth. Danny just doesn't want to see him in NXT. That's what it comes down to. He just doesn't want to see him in NXT. We all know Hook is going to NXT, and he's going to WWE. It's going to happen.
Maybe not this draft round, like where everybody gets to make their options, but maybe his next contract following, I could see it. Even if it was, I'd be kind of surprised it'd be this quick, but I could see it within the next 2 contract renewals for sure.
And right now, his contract status is unknown. But now, moving on to the next topic, AEW is interested in bringing in X-Pac for a one-off appearance to do something with Billy Gunn potentially. X-Pac doesn't want to make a one-off appearance, but remains interested in doing something with AEW in the near future. He's currently training right now for an in-ring return, having initially returned in early 2020 before he sustained a torn bicep injury. How do you
was
feel
quick.
about X-Pac doing something in AEW?
That'd be sick as fuck, but I would have rathered it be in WWE, just like I would have rathered having Billy Gunn jump in for that one off. I'm with it. Like I said, revitalizing careers is the thing nowadays, and after Edge, I'm willing to believe anything, and I'm willing to give anything a shot. So I feel like with the array of talent you have in AEW, including Billy Gunn, it would be a fucking big deal. So yeah, I'm
Yeah,
with it.
honestly,
I'm with it.
I'm not gonna lie.
He wants to
It
be
is
at his
pretty
100%.
cool. It is a pretty cool report to see that X-Pac and AEW have been talking. That is really cool to see. I would rather see X-Pac in WWE over AEW. And honestly, I would love to see X-Pac make a Royal Rumble appearance.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what I'm waiting for. I think X-Pac should, go back to WWE. Maybe do a schedule similar to Chris Jericho and Rob Van Dam did at one point, where they would wrestle for 90 days.
The whole damn show.
And then, they would take a break for a few months. Then they would come back for 90 days. I feel like that's a good schedule for X-Pac to work.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I'm right there with you. Right, nail on the head.
But I feel like WWE, they want to keep focusing on their new stars. And I think that's why they haven't really been interested in bringing in X-Pac or even, Carlito, which, by the way, Carlito, they're the promoter that was supposed to have him on an indie show July 15th, had to cancel him because apparently he signed with WWE.
I will be so happy if that's the case.
But I'm not believing it until I see Carlito.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. I don't think it just magically happens. So, yeah, no, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, but man, I got to say, X-Pac, I think, it would be cool to see him, period, in any wrestling ring. If it's an independent wrestling show, that'd be cool. Seeing him in AEW would be all right. Even, WWE, I think, for me, WWE is probably the best spot because that's, where he really took off in his career. Started off as, one of those, young jobbers with being the 1-2-3 kid. And then, left WWE because he wasn't being used properly. Went to WCW, joined the original NWO, and became more serious. And then, they weren't using him properly after that. So he left WCW, went to WWE in 1998, joined the new DX with Triple H, Road Dogg, Billy Gunn in China, and really took off his career from there. And I feel like if there's anything that the Edge thing that we both, were very passionate about when he came back was there's nothing like coming home. There really isn't.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, I would rather see X-Pac in WWE over AEW.
Facts.
But do you think AEW will sign X-Pac more than a one-off appearance? Because it seems like X-Pac doesn't really want to do one-offs. It seems like he actually wants to get one more run in him, similar to Edge, similar to Jeff Jarrett.
I don't know. I feel like that's 100% an AEW thing. I feel like if they're interested, they'll come to somewhat of a feasible agreement. I feel like X-Pac should take the one off for now. Maybe not right now because I can understand wanting to be in 1,000% shape. Not even just physical shape, but ring shape. But I feel like it would be a trial period for that one off to see how he does and to see what he can still do and to see what he can take as well and how big is his recovery process from taking bumps after this long, especially after a bicep injury. Yeah, it's realistically in AEW's lane at this point.
Well, this episode comes out on Saturday, and the first episode of Collision is on Saturday. What if he makes his AEW debut tonight?
Congrats. Like I said,
I feel like that would get a massive pop. I feel like that would be a huge pop.
If done right, yeah.
Because tonight, for Collision, they're going to be at the United Center in Chicago, and that crowd's going to be lit.
Oh, excuse me. Nice, man. Like I said, I am incredibly on board for anybody that can revitalize their career and have a run that they're proud of, especially this late in the game, in their age, And it's, for example, not everybody's fucking Billy Gunn. That dude is fucking old as shit, but that dude is in immaculate shape and can still massively go in the ring. Like, massively. So I will 100% say not everybody is Billy Gunn.
And that's one thing I will say, like, about AEW, because I know I'd rather see him in WWE over AEW, but I will say this. AEW does know how to utilize the legends that they have.
Oh,
for the
absolutely.
most part. And if X-Pac, does want to, come back in wrestling for, like, one final run, AEW would be a good spot for him to do that. But it's just, at the end of the day, I just want to see him come home.
Facts.
But now, before we dive into our main event topic for, this week's episode of We Are Wrestling 61, we like to do this every week on the podcast, Comment of the Week, where we pick one or more random comments that you guys comment on the We Are Wrestling YouTube page. And in order to get your comment featured on a future episode of the podcast, all you have to do is go to the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel and comment on any of our videos. We end up picking a few of them, but this week, the 3-comment streak ends. We only have one comment of the week.
Wow.
And this is from Mr. Joe Dirt.
Joe Dirt.
8583.
That's fucking
and
awesome.
he commented this on one of my Dominic reactions.
Okay.
And said this, and I quote, Dom is like a cross between a low-level drug dealer from a 1980s episode of Miami Vice and a used car salesman that would sell you a car that the engine blows up as soon as it gets off the lot. So easy to hate.
Yo, facts, dude. Dom is just brilliant with his heel shit. Like, he is definitely more so an Eddie Guerrero than Rey Mysterio Jr. Like, that dude just radiates fucking heel energy all over it. And this was a great thing for his career, too, because you just love to hate him, I'm sure he's fucking great, in real life. He's a great fucking dude, probably. But it's so good in the way that, like, he's acting like a little bitch, even though he's, like, hard as shit from prison. Like, he's straight up a little bitch, and he runs with it. Dude, he runs with it. Like hiding behind Rhea Ripley. Like, it's a fucking... Dude, it's gold. It's 100,000% gold, dude. Like, anybody
And
can
I
buy
love
that
what
shit.
they're doing low-key, because on Raw, they had, Dominic versus Cody Rhodes announced for Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that because Brock Lesnar, isn't around right now. Cody wants Brock, but Brock's not answering him. And Dominic now is getting
Not
under
Brock
Cody's
Lesnar.
skin. And I think what's going to happen at Money in the Bank, to be honest with you, Dominic and Cody's match isn't even going to start because Brock Lesnar is going to come out and beat the shit out of Cody Rhodes. And then Dominic's going to get that heat because he escapes again.
That's likely. And that'll lead up to their, Brock and Cody 3 at fucking SummerSlam, so...
But
that
I
makes
gotta
sense.
say, Mr. Joe Dirt, this was probably the most creative comment I've seen so
Hell
far
yeah.
on our comment of the week. I
Hell yeah,
love the
Mr. Joe
comparison.
Dirt. Mr. Nunamaker. Sorry.
But I gotta say, I love the comparison here. Like, that was just on point. Like, Dominic is the type of person to, sell
That
you
is 1,000.
friggin' a used car that, blows up.
Dude, 1,000%. That is a spot-on fucking comment. That deserved it.
That's right. And that's why this comment is our only comment of the week. Because we need to acknowledge Mr. Joe Dirt 8583. So congratulations to you, Joe Dirt, on the comment of the week.
Acknowledged.
And before we dive into our main event topic, we'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling podcast. One thing We Are Wrestling recommends you to do is support your local independent promotions. They are the stars of tomorrow. And you never know, sometimes when you go to these shows that might only have 10 to 30 people, you could be seeing the next future WWE champion. maybe even the next AEW star. And through the years, I've always been a huge advocate to supporting independent wrestling. And you can't go wrong. It's a cheap night out, you get a good time with the family, and you get to watch some good old wrestling. Independent wrestling, that's where usually a young professional wrestler starts their career. And having these opportunities to perform in front of crowds is a great way to get exposure to where they will eventually be on your television screen watching them every week. We recommend you guys to support indie wrestling. We're back, and to give the We Are Wrestling Maniacs heads up, on the YouTube page tonight for AEW Collision, myself and Danny Huckins, unfortunately I'm stuck with him and not you, Ben, we're going to be doing a live watch-along to the very first episode of AEW Collision. You're not going to want to miss it. With that being said, let's move on to the main event topic for We Are Wrestling 61.
Oh, shit.
And this one is about somebody that we haven't really covered on the podcast. I'm very surprised his name hasn't really come up in any topics.
What up?
Hulk Hogan.
Maybe because he's such a fucking piece of shit, but yeah.
Well, he took
Sorry.
some shots at today's wrestlers, and I have the full reports here that I'm going to be, reading to you, and you can give me and the We Are Wrestling Maniacs your thoughts on this. So, recently on the Full Send podcast, Hulk Hogan described how wrestlers used to be much larger, as the guys were monster size, and they were weighed over 300 pounds. Hogan then noted that a lot of wrestlers today look like wrestlers, but many of them look like they should be bagging his groceries. He pointed out that they also are much more athletic now. He said this, and I quote, "It wasn't the WWE. It was the wrestling business. It was when I got in, man. When I walked in a dressing room, there were like 6 guys sitting there. They all 300 pounders. I was a medium-sized guy, and I weighed 300 plus. When I got in, if you wanted to be a wrestler, okay, there's a guy there. He's got 2 big cauliflower ears. His nose is broken. His teeth are knocked out. He's got 4 kids at home. This next guy over here, he was an NCAA champion. He got a steel plate in his forearm. His name, Harley Race. Good luck with him." Then, the other 2 guys, they look like a serial killer. And if you wanted to be a wrestler, you got to take their job and take the food out of their family's mouth. That's the difference. Everybody I wrestled looked like a monster-sized men. Nowadays, there's a lot of guys that look like wrestlers. There's a lot of guys that don't. A lot of guys who look like wrestlers and a lot of guys who look like they should be bagging my groceries. So, the difference is how athletic the guys are. Smaller guys can do all kinds of crazy stuff. They do so much stuff. So much impressive stuff in one match. I wouldn't do that much in a year. What does that mean? Hogan said. So, what are your thoughts on Hulk Hogan's opinion about today's wrestlers? Because it didn't seem like he buried them.
No.
But he also, at the same time, was talking about the size like a lot of the old school guys do say, and also praising their athleticism at least.
Hulk Hogan is one of the most controversial individuals there are. Not even just wrestler, but one of the most controversial individuals there is. However, I do understand where he's coming at. Like, it's not really bashing them. It's just, in his time, it was a lot different. If you wanted to be a wrestler, you had to put on the pounds. You had to fucking be in the fucking gym 24/7. You had to be eating fucking 6 egg whites at 5 a.m. doing fucking like 20,000 fucking push-ups, and it was about like what you could do, like what you could lift, what you could fucking, it was about giants, it was really a show back then.
Steroids, brother.
It's a lot more theatrical now. It's a lot more scripted. It's a lot more feeling wise, so you can get those feel good, oh my god moments now, rather than just 2 large athletes just wrestling in the ring, just 2 guys sweating all over each other. God, it's good shit. But no, it's like he was still praising them at the same time. He was like, yeah, where they're not super huge in monster size anymore. There's a lot larger guys that are doing athletic shit, but the smaller guys are fucking killing the show 100% with what they can do because
And their
they're so
athleticism
small.
is making up for their size.
It is 100. So he wasn't really bashing them, he was just kind of stating the obvious. Like there isn't a lot of big guys anymore. The last bigger guys we had were, Taker, Kane, Big Show, kinda, and he's still kind of doing something. Mark Henry,
really.
not really, but like Mark Henry, big guys like that. There's not many anymore. Kali, there's not many giants anymore. We got Omos, who's a big guy, who's a little athletic, but he's green as fuck around the gills. You don't have those legendary giants anymore. You don't have those big guys anymore. There's not many. There's
the
not
larger
many.
than life characters too.
I
think
feel
they're
like there's
lacking.
so much potential in Morrissey. I feel like he could go back to WWE and really make an impact for himself. And make
Big
a name
Bill.
for himself again. Hi, I'm Big Bill. But yeah, I could really see where he's coming from, and I don't think it's from a bad place. This time around, I think he's being just 100 about it. I don't think there's any really big animosity.
Yeah, and of course, in the IWC, they're just going to continue to talk about the groceries comment over the entire interview, which is why with the We Are Wrestling podcast, when I give, these topics to Ben, Danny, and, myself, I always try to make sure to add all the details in there before we talk about it, because
100%.
a lot of things, in the wrestling community doesn't get talked about because they only focus on one part of the interview and they don't focus on the other parts of the interview. We try to be different on that end of things. But I do got to say, Hulk Hogan, I don't think he's wrong at all with this. It is very true because back in the day, a lot of these wrestlers, they had to rely on size because back then size mattered in pro wrestling. Size matters. And a lot of them even had to, take, supplements as well, like steroids and, other, pain pills and stuff back in the day to, keep up with the schedule and, to have that physique, to have that, body. And, I think like in today's wrestling, I understand like a lot of these guys don't look larger than life. And that's something that I hear from a lot of old school fans when I go to these, independent wrestling shows or when I go to wrestling conventions. A lot of them will tell me like, I can't watch today's wrestling, man. Like these guys freaking look like toothpicks compared to what I watched back in the day. And like, I wish more people in the wrestling community would be more open-minded because I do think the athleticism does, make up for the lack of muscle.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think, Hulk Hogan here, he's not really being delusional here because if you do look back at all Hulk Hogan's feuds through the years, it was always against bigger guys. The Iron Sheik, Yokozuna, even, had a feud with the Macho Man. And that's the thing, like, size did matter back in the day because the characters were more larger than life.
Oh, yeah.
And that's, I think,
Andre.
what's missing in today's wrestling is lack of character work. And I think that's why wrestling isn't where it's at back in the day. And kayfabe, back in the day was alive.
All time.
So, like,
high.
people thought that it was real.
Yep.
But I do think, like, there's other wrestlers out there that say a lot worse things about friggin', today's wrestling. And I think Hulk Hogan didn't even really say anything that bad. I think it's funny, the whole grocery thing.
Mm-hmm. He made a point.
I think he definitely did. But is there anything else you want to talk about on the podcast before we close this episode off?
No, I think that's a good point to wrap it.
Yeah, so if there's anything you learned on We Are Wrestling 61, it's you wake up, you say your prayers, you eat your vitamins. Make Hulk Hogan proud. But to the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there, let us know in the comment section below your thoughts on all the topics we covered on this week's episode. If you enjoyed We Are Wrestling 61, make sure to smash that like button now. If you're a listener of the podcast, give us a 5-star review and download us, because the more, feedback you guys give us, the more this podcast can, go out to more people. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, subscribe, turn on the post notifications. The link's down in the description below. You can go follow Ben, Danny, and myself. All the links are down below. Fortunately, I do got to put Danny's links because he did make a one-off appearance in this.
Jesus.
It's under his contract obligations. But all the links are down in the description below. In addition, you want shorter clips of the podcast, you can go check those out on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Negan.
All the links down below. And, of course, to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide, we are taking over. Peace.
Peace.
And Negan is fucking playing with himself.
Oh, my God.